All right, hey there, welcome. We're excited to cook with you tonight.
We're cooking up a healthy Thai quinoa coconut bowl. That is a lot of words.
It is, and we're mic'd up tonight, so this one's gonna be a little different. Instead of a normal short, we're just gonna talk you through as we go. So let's do it. All right, I'm gonna start off with prepping some chicken. Looks like Stephanie's doing some potatoes.
Oh, I sure am. Cutting the ends off, and I like to keep the skin on the potatoes, so you won't see me shaving that off.
Little tip, one thing I love to do with chicken is use meat scissors to cut off the fat and the portions you don't want to eat. Meat scissors work great. And then you can chop it up with a knife as you please, but the scissors are fantastic.
My little tip on potatoes, you gotta cut them all the same size. So when you're cooking them in the oven, they cook at the same rate.
So there's a lot going on in this dish. There's a decent bit of prep to make it all happen. It's a bowl, but it's got a coconut quinoa. So we'll walk you through how we make our coconut quinoa. The roasted sweet potatoes that Stephanie's working on there. There's a cabbage slaw with vinegar. And then, of course, there's a peanut sauce as well. You gotta have a good peanut sauce to go with it.
We're gonna make ours from scratch this time. Sometimes we can find a really good pre-made one, but we're gonna go from scratch this time.
And you can do this dish as a vegetarian, just don't add meat. But if you want meat, we recommend chicken.
This may be vegan, because I don't think we have any animal products other than the chicken. I'd have to double check the actual ingredients, because sometimes they sneak stuff in, but I imagine you could check and make sure, and then make it a vegan meal as well.
There you go. So I'm just cutting the chicken up into bite-sized pieces, throwing them into this bowl.
One of the things that I find helpful, we did a cooking class video where we learned some really good helpful tips, and one of the things I learned was how to do the knuckle cutting. So when you're doing your cutting on vegetables, especially something like a potato that's really hard, you use your knuckles for cutting those pieces to keep your fingers and your nails safe from being chopped off.
Yeah, that's some protein you don't want.
Ugh.
What do you call those cooks that do all the meal prep for the chef?
Is that the sous chef? Or is the sous chef the sauce? No, that's who makes the sauce?
Sous chef, maybe. I don't know.
I'm forgetting our Ratatouille movie watching days. We need to refresh.
Apparently. Anyway, so we're playing the role of a lot of cooks tonight, including prep. I'm gonna season up the chicken. I like to drop a little apple cider vinegar in there. Sorry, I don't take a lot of measurements. Just kind of go by feel, look, taste. There's a little salt. Go with some garlic powder.
Same as contrasting with me because I measure everything.
And some pepper.
Why, thank you.
Let's get that all stirred up in there. A little more salt. One thing I find is you generally need more salt than you think. What'd you season the sweet potatoes with, Steph?
Pretty much the same thing you used. I often like to mimic what you're using with your seasonings over here. So just again, salt, pepper, garlic for those potatoes that I'm gonna spread out. That was another great tip I found online, was making sure your roasted veggies have plenty of space when you are baking them in the oven.
All right, I'm gonna throw the chicken on the stove. Get this stuff sautéed up. We typically use two different oils. We have olive oil and avocado oil. And so it really depends on the temperature at what you're cooking at. If you're cooking at a lower temperature, olive oil is perfect. But olive oil has a lower smoke point than avocado oil. So if you have higher temperatures, you want to lean toward the avocado oil.
That's what I used on the sweet potatoes, because I cook those at about 425. All right, next thing I'm working on is the quinoa. So we actually will be using full fat unsweetened coconut milk. So that's gonna go in the quinoa instead of water. So that gives it a little more of a Thai flavoring since we're not using rice. And then we also do a little bit of maple syrup to make it a little sweeter. What I do is I actually blend up the coconut milk. When you open the can, that fat sits on top, all that cream. So I stir that in before I'm adding all the quinoa to that. And like Sam mentioned, he does not tend to measure things. He is really great about freewheeling in the kitchen when he's cooking, but I do tend to measure everything.
All right, I'm gonna start working on the slaw. It's a nice tangy coleslaw, some good vinegar and lime and lots of good flavor going on in here. All right, we have a coleslaw mix here. It's just some green and red cabbage and some carrots. Dump it into this bowl. Then I'm going to slice up a red bell pepper.
We have a little bit of cilantro, some coconut flakes, and some peanuts that I'm going to chop up for the topping. One of the tips or tricks that I learned for cilantro when you're cutting it is the rolling method. So that again, that also helps with keeping your fingers out of the way. I think you also borrowed my knife.
I did. You just had everything warmed up for me.
Yeah, that's just fine.
All right. A lot of cooking comes down to personal preference as well. First time you make a dish, it's usually a good idea to follow the recipe unless there's something you don't care for and you're aware of that. But the more you make something, the more you kind of learn the things you like and you don't like, and you can adjust amounts accordingly. So you can put more or less pepper. You don't have to use red pepper. You can use green, yellow, orange, any combination of those that you like. Recipe will say diced red pepper, which is, what we do in here, but you could choose sliced red bell pepper. So there's a lot of flexibility and variance that comes with it that you just kind of tailor to your preferences.
I think in this recipe, for example, we tend to add more water to the sauce.
Exactly right, because texture and consistency of the sauce, we don't like it so thick that you can't really distribute it well and spread it well, so we thin it out a little bit. And we like a lot of sauce. Some recipes don't ask for or provide enough dressing or marinades and sauces, and so we tend to do a little extra.
I do like a good sauce.
Check the chicken. Yep, chicken's looking good. And everybody in their kitchen has their own dishes and bowls and cooking things they like to use. We love these kind of flat blue bowls. We just put the chicken in there and let it sit. I'll throw a little foil on top, kind of tint it, leave the sides open so that moisture can dissipate. All right.
Ooh, nice word.
All right, here's the shelled edamame. I'm gonna cook about a cup of that. Maybe a heavy cup.
I do like getting the shelled edamame because that's a lot easier. It's frozen, ready to go.
All right, while the edamame cooks, I'll prep some snap peas. Throw these in a strainer, and we got a fruit and veggie wash that we like to use. It's not necessary, but makes us feel better about
It definitely makes me feel better.
making sure our veggies get clean. Snap peas will get chopped as well. All right, chopping snap peas.
Whenever we have snap peas, it reminds me of your sweet mom.
She did enjoy her snap peas.
She loved to have her veggie tray.
That's right. With her ranch dressing.
That's right. She is from Texas, so that's, I think, a must.
Snap peas are cut. Throw them in the bowl. Keep an eye on the stuff on the stove.
Ooh, are you keeping an eye on my things as well?
I did take a peek at the coconut rice. It's looking
Okay.
good. Next, I'm gonna prep some garlic and ginger to go in there. You can use powders. That's fine. We have the fresh stuff, so we'll use that tonight. Fresh ginger. Ginger can be a little hard to work with. I like to use the peeler and just rip all that ginger skin right off. Just don't rip your own skin off.
Ooh, that always makes me nervous.
Yeah, especially when working with oddly shaped things like ginger. Ginger is one of those fresh ginger, strong ingredients that you want to be mindful of how much you're putting in. It can quickly overwhelm. But again, that's a personal taste preference. You can go light or heavy as much as you want.
I agree, because we often go heavier on garlic, for example.
That's right. Kind of like the Italian way.
Okay, there are some pressed garlic over here.
Awesome. So you always want to use all your senses. I don't know about all of them, but a lot of your senses when cooking. Use your ears so you can hear if something's simmering on the stove or spilling, boiling over. you know, all those kinds of things. Your nose, the smell of the aromas, make sure everything smells fresh and
Not being burned.
something's not burning in the oven or on the stovetop. Absolutely. Use your eyes, look at everything, make sure, again, it looks fresh and
Not spoiled.
not spoiled. You got good ingredients. I am dicing up the ginger.
Got about 5 minutes on the timer. I don't know that they'll be ready, so we'll check them.
It's another good tip. Make sure you're checking your food as you go. Don't always assume that the recommended amount of time is proper. Sometimes it's too much, sometimes it's not enough. So
Which
you want
is
to...
something we discovered in Reno, being a mountain town. We are at higher elevation.
That's right. That's one of those things that's easy to forget, but we're up almost as high as Denver. We're actually above the city of Reno, up in the foothills. So we're up close to 5,000 feet where we are. And so things do take longer to boil and cooking times differ. That was an adjustment coming from Seattle. All right, so I've got the ginger chopped. Again, we tend to go heavy on things like everything. And so you don't have to use all of it. You just kind of grab what you say looks like the right amount, you know, throw it in. And there's some extra on the side, so if anybody wants to add more, you know, to their particular bowl, that's an option. So I'll leave a little bit for that. So we'll throw some garlic in the bowl, fresh pressed. All right, here's the fun part. Got all the base of the slaw ready to go. Now we put in all the liquids. Put some olive oil. Love some good olive oil. Some apple cider vinegar. Give it that nice tang. And soy sauce, we use tamari. Tamari is actually healthier. It's fermented, so it's got some more health benefits to it. We also get the 50% less sodium version.
May I have that?
You may.
Thank you kindly.
All right. You know, I'm not a huge fan of kitchen gadgets, but there are some that are worth their weight in gold. The squeezer for lemons and limes. This thing, it's amazing because you can get every ounce of the juice out and it leaves the thing completely crushed. I mean, you can use your hand, but typically you'll get more out of it with one of these guys. So we'll squeeze the lime into here. Let's mix this stuff in here nicely.
So we just pulled the sweet potatoes out of the oven after cooking them at 425 for about 15 minutes. Remember I talked about cutting the potatoes with consistency so that they cook the same. But what I do is I like to check with the fork, do the fork test on the sweet potatoes, make sure they're nice and soft. Looking good.
All right, I've got the slaw well mixed. Stirred in all that garlic, ginger, and the sauce marinades in there. So now is the taste test. Let's see how this is doing. It's close. It's not quite right. I think it needs a little more olive oil. Give it a little bit more of that silky texture. It's good on the ginger and the garlic. You want the flavors to actually be pretty strong. Remember that we're not eating this as a side salad, and so you want the flavor to be stronger than you would expect because it's going to be mixed in a bowl with a whole bunch of other things, so you need it to really pop. All right. Here's what it's looking like. There it is. Stephanie's got the peanut sauce going here, so I'm just giving it a good stir. What'd you put in here, Steph?
Well, you've got some peanut butter, some maple syrup, some tamarind sauce, some water, and I think that's about it.
All right. It's pretty thick, and so I just added some water to try to thin it out a little bit. One trick too that's helpful, we did not do that just now, is to use warm water. It just helps soften it a little bit better than cold. Again, not necessary. I clearly used cold just now, but warm water is better. All right, let's see. All right, so we're gonna put some olive oil in there as well. One downside of adding too much water is it waters down the taste and the flavor. So you want to keep that strong. You do need to add water, but as you do, balance that with adding more of the other liquids. So I'll add some more tamarind here.
Feel free to add more syrup.
Any sweet teeth in the family? This is a...
It actually is sweet teeth because I have more than a sweet tooth.
Let's get that all stirred in properly. Here's what we're looking at so far. Okay, now we're starting to get to a nice runny texture here that'll pour onto the bowl as well. You can see, yeah, that's looking pretty good.
Don't forget a taste test to make sure it tastes good.
That is right. With a clean utensil. All right, let's see how we're doing. So good. I could just almost drink that. It's delicious. I'm gonna put a dash of salt. Salt really makes everything pop. But again, that's to your taste and health preferences. All right, I think we're good on the sauce. All right, and unless you think we forgot, the edamame is cooked. That goes into the slaw. Give this one final stir. All right. Okay, we're getting ready to plate the meal. Over here we have the finished coleslaw. We have the peanut sauce. We have all the toppings: cilantro, peanuts, extra ginger, coconut flakes, crushed red pepper. And then over here we have the chicken, sweet potatoes, and coconut quinoa.
All right, Sam and I always have this debate. What goes on the bottom? What goes next? So I am putting the quinoa on the bottom. That is my preference. Thank you.
And then after the quinoa, we'll go with some slaw. And again, the amount varies by taste. You can put as little or as much of each thing in as you want. All right, after the slaw, we like to layer in a little bit of sauce. We'll put some on top as well, of course. But there we go. And then we'll head over here to the sweet potatoes. Oh.
And chicken. Perfect, right?
All right, here we go. There are the healthy Thai Coconut Quinoa Bowls. Now the best part we get to enjoy. Delicious. What's the your favorite thing about this bowl? Well, I'll go first since you just put a bite in your mouth. I like that it's healthy. It tastes very fresh with that slaw that's in there. It's all fresh ingredients. You know, it's clean ingredients, so there's nothing added to it. So I like the freshness, but then the flavors. You know, you really can taste that ginger and the garlic and the peanut and the vinegar and the lime. Just the pop of the combination of all those together is really good.
Well, Sam actually said 2 favorite things. I like the layers and the flavoring. So I like having that coconut quinoa, and then you have the tang that you mentioned from the vinegar and the slaw. Then you have the peanut sauce, and then you have the sweet potato, all the maple. I mean, so there's just so many different layers of the flavors. So that's probably my favorite thing. This is probably my favorite bowl.
It is a good one. All right, well, thanks for coming along with us as we cooked. We'll post the recipe, and hopefully you can enjoy it making it yourself someday. See ya.